Hello, good evening, everybody. As you can see, I will use a quite unusual approach to explain the innovation that companies can do with universities. The current days, the availability of state-of-the-art insights and new technologies are very important for companies. It's the reason that they can perform better than the competitors, or even can be a way to survive the competition. So in the next talk, I will explain, using images of the wildlife, how universities and companies can work together, and the nature can form new models for this collaboration. In the past, universities were the institution to produce diplomas and to produce knowledge. And their way to export this knowledge to the outside world, to the companies, was through education of people. But nowadays, the creation of knowledge and the global knowledge increases at such a tremendous rate. The speed of the duplication of knowledge is 2 times a year. So we have an increasing amount of knowledge, and we need to find new ways to export this knowledge to the companies. And that's the reason that a few years ago, in different universities all over the world, the Tech Transfer offices have been established. So the reason for these Tech Transfer offices is to find new ways to transfer these new technologies from universities and high schools to the outside world and to the companies. But the question is, which kind of models do we use to export these new technologies to the companies? It's not so easy because we have to find new models for that. And what I will do is I will use some examples of wildlife from nature, examples that are offered by nature, to explain some possible ways of collaboration. So some do's and some don'ts. So I will start with some don'ts. So this is a picture of some orcas and penguins. So in this picture, the orcas could represent the big, huge companies. And the penguins could represent the new technologies that are discovered in the university. Well, people think that orcas are very friendly and nice organisms. But as a matter of fact, their favorite menu is penguins. So the orca kind of companies, they consider the university as a kind of food dispenser of penguins, of new inventions. And this is not the way that we as Tech Transfer want to treat the inventions in the university. Another example, I don't want to show a picture of that, is an even worse kind of collaboration. That's a kind of species that also contains the tapeworms. Tapeworms, I don't know if you know them, they have, or they tend to have, a very intimate and very close and long-standing collaboration with your host, but not for the benefit of the host. As a matter of fact, they can live there for years and grow, but at the end they eat the host from the inside out. So for the next of this talk, I will go on with more Walt Disney kind of stories of collaboration. So this is a mushroom that lives between the roots of a plant. And the collaboration is a kind of mutualism, what we call that, a mutual benefit for both the root of the plant and for the mushroom. So the plant that gives carbohydrates to the mushroom, and the mushroom gives phosphates to the plant. So it's a mutual beneficial collaboration. And that's, for instance, if we translate in company language, if a university provides a patent to a company, then the company gives some royalty back to university. So it's mutual beneficial. That's what we think a good example of collaboration. Another example is the example of this antelope. It has a little bird on the back, and this little bug that picks some nasty insects from the antelope's back. So it is also a mutual beneficial relation. The bird gets some protection, and the antelope is relieved from some difficulties from the back from these little insects. So here there is a service provided by the little bird, So for instance, you could say universities provide some services, ready-off-the-shelf services, analytical tools, lab analysis to the big company, the Antelope, and the Antelope provides some financial beneficence to the university. Next example is of the acacia plant, so more tropical plant that lives in the jungle in the southern part of America. You see then there are some ants living in this plant. In the jungle there is really a battle for sunlight, for every ray of sun. And what these ants do is that they are engaged by the acacia plant as a kind of defender of the plant. So if there is a neighboring plant that wants to invade some space and take some sunlight, these little ants, they attack the neighboring plants. And even worse, if there is a grasshopper coming along which is 10 times bigger than the ant, also the ant would also attack the grasshopper. So if we translate this one in a company language, is a university language, you could say that it's a possibility that universities and companies have a very intense relationship. They can do co-creation. They all give their best effort to make new developments. They defend each other, they give each other room. And that is kind of service collaboration. That's a kind of collaboration which we think is very beneficial for economics. I will skip this one, you know, with Nemo defending the anemones from the other fishes. So we can all summarize this by the story of the bees and the flowers. You know, that bees fertilize the flowers, and from the flowers there's then the nectar, and the nectar becomes the honey. So bees cannot survive without the flowers cannot survive without the bees. But if we have flowers and bees, we have some honey. And that's in the end what we also want to have for the collaboration with companies. We want the universities and the companies, so we have some results we can valorize, and that's good for economic growth. So all in all, I'm here not to tell you that there are no disadvantages of collaboration between universities and companies, but I want just you to open your eyes and open your minds that there are different kinds of collaborations possible, which provide some advantages for both parties, and which would make that both parties can survive the battle of the fittest. And it's just a nice goodbye.